Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
And welcome to Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate you all tuning us on in on this hump day tonight. Wow, what a week it's been so far. Bruce Cornet is going to join us. We're talking Mars, the moon, and aliens. Doesn't get much better than that. Also, we got a nice co-host for the first hour, or maybe two. We'll convince him in. Roderick Martin from High Strangeness is here as well. His beard is looking at on par, very much on par. We love them around here. All right, let us say hello to each and every one of you so far in our chat room tonight. We got Laura Lobbs in the gold medal position, Tim Mothman in his goatee in the silver, with Race Fan taking home a bronze medal tonight. Forrest Louie, Roy Boy, good to see you. Karen in the Woo Train, thanks for coming on in. And Kurt M, Brown Dwarf, Area 51, thank you for joining us. Hello there, Stephanie Kenny Blankenship. Human Carl, nice to have you back. A great veteran of the United States Air Force. Human Carl is. Chastity Moore, thank you for joining us. Hello, D. Cohen. Derek Galloway is here. Derek will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio, if you don't mind. To the left of the studio. Boy, I had a light go out in the studio. It is dark in here. All right, Renard the Fox, good to have you back. Forrest Louie, Rat Sass, good to have you both here. Thurston Howell III, thank you for coming on in. Number 26 in your program, starting at right wing tonight from Stockholm, Sweden, Lars Jansson. There he is. Vanessa, thank you for joining us. Jessica S. Nick Adkins. W. David Page. And who else is joining us here? Doug Shelby is here. The Doug Shelby has arrived, which means we can officially start this show. And we also have Gizmo, Black Dragon, our favorite Marine. Thank you for your service. Ozzy, Stephen Edmond, thank you for coming on in. Stephen Edmond will be signing autographs after the show as well. Light up to the right of the studio, if you don't mind, to the right of the studio. Susan Alloway, Millennium, my man, thank you for joining us tonight. As we continue on with roll call, there's Marty Burback, Welsh Hammer, and who else do we have here? Nina Williams, good to see you. Scrolling on down, there's Robert Lamoth, Ozzy Ange, thank you for coming on in, JSCO, and 5DRG. Louie, thank you so much for kicking off the Super Chat tonight. The Super Chat is a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis, so thank you so much, Louie, for your love and support. Jeremy Jones, good to see you. Chillgasm, thank you for coming on in. Hello, Monica and Roger. Aaron Baca, thank you for coming on in. Hi, Nancy Thames, Pixie Lara, and her beautiful purple hair. The Unknown, Bad Cop, good to have you both here. As we continue on with our roll call, Sandra Kincaid, thank you for coming on in. Hello, Christine Lynn. And who else do we have here? Well, let's take a look, shall we? We have Skip to Maloo. Nice to have you here, my dear. And Lil Cam over on Twitch. There we go. Let's get the radio side going. So that way we can get Bill WD-40 to lube us up in the Spreaker chat. All right, continuing on. President Zaddy F.U. Good to see you, my man. Michael Fontaine, good to have you back. And Mr. Cowley, welcome to the show. Well, Mr. Cowley loves his spaced out radio. Moving on, let's see. Driftwood, welcome to SOR Chat. And he is river camping in Minnesota right now, eating some beef stew. That sounds like a good time. I'm going to be honest. That sounds like a really good time. JMJ12, good to have you here. Reminder, the super chat is open. It's a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. Also, mark on your calendar, May 10th through 12th in Reno, Nevada, 2024, the third annual fan party in Reno at the Silver Legacy Resort and Casino. We want to see you all there. We're going to be getting information pretty quick here for you. You can email us at info@spacedoutradio.com for more information. All right, the store is open on our website. Go get your swag. We do not have ugly swag, people. And do me a favor, horns up. Let's rock. From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. Join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. You can follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon at the SOR Space Travelers Club. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. We got an amazing show tonight. We're going to look at Mars, the moon, aliens. Yep, Dr. Bruce Cornet is here with us tonight. We also have a special guest host with us, Roderick Martin, from his new YouTube channel, High Strangeness, that we're going to tell you all about later on in the show. And then in hour number 3, Steve Stockton joins us from Among the Missing for another creepy story, followed up by Little Timmy Senor and the UFO reports. All right, let's get right to it. Now retired, Dr. Bruce Cornet began teaching his teaching career as a professor of physical and historical geology with the Raritan Valley Community College in New Jersey. Then he taught those subjects at El Paso Community College of Texas. Yeah, between 1983 and his retirement of 2008, Dr. Cornet honed his expertise in geological modeling, geophysical interpretation, and palynological sampling and analysis as an independent geological consultant. How did he get into the weird stuff? Well, since retiring in 2008, Dr. Cornet has focused his energy on writing, authoring such works as Unconventional Aerial Phenomena in the Hudson and Wallkill River Valley of New York, and published hundreds of web pages describing 140 UFO sightings with pictures and videos, and on ET Contact and Abduction. Hey, this sounds right up our field tonight, does it not? Yeah, if we're getting into aliens, we need to talk to Dr. Bruce Cornet. That's just the way it is. Dr. Bruce Cornet, thank you so much for coming on Spaced Out Radio for the first time.
Thank you for having me.
It's good to have you here. And Roderick, thank you for hopping on in with us, because I know you love yourself some aliens as well, my man.
Dave Scott. That's right. That's right.
Love you, my man. Dr. Cornet, how do you go from going from somebody who specializes in geology to all of a sudden wanting to learn about aliens, UFOs, and ET abduction?
Well, it's an interesting story. It started in 1992, and I was living in Middletown or Scottstown, New York, and I saw a TV program called The Intruders. And I was working at Lamont Doherty Earth Observatory at the time, and also a well-site geologist for the Columbia University. We drilled 7 wells, recovered 28,000 feet of core, and I described and photographed all 28,000 feet of that in the Jurassic Newark Basin of New Jersey. And that was what I was very much involved in at the time. And I saw this online or television show called Intruders, and I was shocked by the content was about abductions, alien abductions. And I wanted to find out more about it because in universities at that time, that was just a taboo subject. You don't talk about that stuff. So I went to the bookstore and I found the book called Intruders by Bud Hopkins and forward by John Mack. And I read it and I was shocked by what it was said in there. The book manager also handed me a book, said, you need to read this one. And it was called Silent Invasion by Ellen Crystal. And what is really strange about that is that as I read it, Ellen Crystal was talking about all of the sightings she had right around where I lived, in my own backyard, literally less than 10 miles away. So I contacted some of my friends who might know her, and I was able to get her phone number. And I called her up and said, would you please show me what in the world you're doing? I've never heard of anything like this, all of these strange craft that were following her around on the road. She says, well, let me pick you up. We'll go out and I'll show you them. Have you ever encountered something like this where you could dial up a UFO or an alien just simply by knowing where to go and stand and watch? Well, that's what happened on my first night. And these craft were coming in right over our heads, and then they would dive into the ground. And others would come up through the trees and in the farm fields and then take off in different directions. And I started taking photographs, time exposures. My camera was mounted on a stable tripod, and I had a shutter release. So I was collecting all of these photographs of the movement of these lights in the sky. My thesis was very simple. If they are moving like an airplane, they're going to go from point A to point B. They're not going to stop, turn around, dive into the ground. Well, the ones I was photographing, which were all below 1,500 feet, which is the minimum FAA altitude, they would be coming in and I would get pictures of them moving around, and they were definitely not airplanes. So I started going out with Ellen Crystal every time she went out in the field and taking all these photographs. And this whole went on for 11 years. When I went out there, I would have to go away from Red Bank, New Jersey, up to Pine Bush, New York, and go to these specific places, and the craft would come out and meet us. Have you ever heard of anything like that? They would come out and put on performances right in front of us. This was pretty amazing. So I documented all of that and put it out on my web pages. Well, the intelligence community loved me. Absolutely. They even invited me on their television show. And the CIA did. And because they wanted to get my information, because nobody else had been doing this. And here I was getting all of these craft that could stop on a dime, could take off like a bat out of hell, and they could circle around and make all sorts of sounds. And this is something else. I had to distinguish these from conventional aircraft. All right, because we had an international airport and military Air Force base on the other side of the valley, and these commercial flights would come in and they would turn at a beacon on a ridge behind to the west of us. We were standing on West Searsville Road in Orange County, and then they would line up with the runway at the airport on the other side of the valley, and they would proceed to descend for landings. And what was really bizarre is that some of these craft that I was photographing, which were clearly not um, airplanes, they would follow in the shadow of the commercial or military aircraft so that radar couldn't pick them up. And then we were watching very carefully as a long cigar-shaped craft came up over the ridge to the west, and it unfolded wings and tail stabilizer. What's going on here? A cigar-shaped craft would suddenly flip out its wings and turn on sound and pretend to be a conventional aircraft. And Ellen Crystal, who was standing near me, said, "No way, let's go chase it." So I said, what in the world did I get myself involved in here? We jumped in our cars and we started racing down these country roads, and with this what looked like a conventional aircraft, but it was all black, solid black, looked like a Boeing 707. And finally, the lead car in our race to follow it stopped in front of us, and we stopped and said, what's going on? And we looked up, and here it was hovering in the sky. It did a rotation 180 degrees on its axis and then took off back the direction it had come. And this was with a full moon out. So we had a good backdrop of light. We could see this thing. And it was very bizarre. Now, my experiences with all of these craft, Dave, got really bizarre because that very early on in July to August of 1992. But by September of 1992, I was coming home from work, going to Middletown. I lived there, and I worked at Lamont Doherty, which was right on the New Jersey New York border. And as I was going down the New York Thruway, and this was in broad daylight, the sun was getting low in the western sky, and I saw this conventional aircraft, what appeared to be a conventional aircraft, coming towards me right on top of the trees. Well, I immediately assumed that it was in trouble. The pilot was in trouble. And when the pilot flashed his headlights 3 times, I realized he was trying to warn the people on the road that he's going to have to make a crash landing on the road. But as it got closer to me, it banked in front of me and crossed the highway, going at about 50 miles an hour. Now, I don't know how many of you know what the stall speed of a Boeing 707 is, but this was what it looked like. Solid black, no engines on it, no windows, and making a sound like that of a jet. And it crossed the highway. And then I took my exit 17 to Middletown, and it crossed the highway 3 more times, back and forth, right on top of the trees. And I was just blown away by this. When I got home, I ran in and got my camera and tripod and went out to my yard. And here it comes down the road, down 211 East, which I lived on. And I took a series of photographs, time exposures of it as it flew over me. Then it circled around and came back and flew over me again. And I was able to determine its speed at anywhere from 20 to 50 miles an hour. Now, that is not a speed that a conventional aircraft can fly at, especially the size of a Boeing 707. And then it disappeared. Well, that opened up a whole study that I wanted to continue to go out there and find out what was going on, especially when I had these craft flying over us when we were at the Dogleg Bend in West Searsville Road. This is Ellen Crystal and her group of skywatchers, and would dive into the ground on the other side of the farm field we were standing next to and disappear, or would come back up, lift off, come back up and take off. Where was it going? They weren't going or landing on the ground, but they were actually going into the ground. And Ellen said that describes in her book, Silent Invasion, that she was out in one of those fields one night and a huge opening occurred right in front of her. A tunnel opened up and she felt warm air coming out from below ground. And apparently, when they detected her, they closed up the hole. So we had all of these strange things happening. And as a scientist, my curiosity kept me going back again and again. And they would come out and many times just follow me around on the roads. What can I say? I was able to determine that there was an underground alien base right there in the valley.
No kidding. No kidding. Rod, what do you think when you hear of alien base?
Well, I mean, first of all, Bruce, that is some amazing work that you're doing, especially, just going back at it. But when it comes down to alien bases, I forget the guy's name. What was his name? He's passed on now, but he was in the military.
Is that Phil Schneider?
Yeah, I guess and he talked about alien bases everywhere, right?
Yeah, Schneider did, yes.
Yeah, he talked about alien bases in, Australia, which is supposed to be one of the biggest ones. And so I would think that, again, it'll be a perfect place for them to hide as we think about the water and then, of course, bases. And why not? Because like he said, people, they've been here long before we was here. So why wouldn't they have bases and things to, just coordinate their landings and whatever? I mean, it just makes so much sense. And for you to get all of that documentation, which beats conversation any day of the week, is amazing.
Yeah, but not too many people have wanted to focus on it. I mean, I did have a TV show with the alien hunters or UFO hunters on History Channel called UFO Vortexes. It was created by Bill Burns, and get an explanation for why these craft can just disappear right in mid-flight. And one time I had this hole projected that looks like our solar system, and he thought it was a vortex. And they wanted to study this, and I had also determined, I did a 24 square mile magnetic survey. Took me 3 years to do this with 1,800 stations. And I mapped it out, and I found, because the bottom line is this: if there's alien technology below ground, we're going to be able to detect it with magnetic anomalies. And my map is just loaded with magnetic anomalies, and showing where these bases are located underground. And it's right next to an Air Force military base. And you would think that the military would be interested in this, and they are. When I discovered that there were signals coming out of the ground from a very large triangular craft that was embedded in the rock, whenever the constellation Bootes was overhead, this alien probe, which had landed on Earth over 400 million years ago, started sending beacons out into the sky. And that was right south of Pine Bush, known as a UFO hotspot. So one would not be surprised that if there was some alien technology that was sending a beacon out, that whoever's out there would see this beacon or encounter it and come to Earth to find out what's going on. And that's one of the reasons why I think there's a lot of activity there, that it's very ancient. We got into we got a helicopter, rented one, with a Japanese film crew that came, and we flew over the basin, over the valley, I should say. And I wanted to, the cameraman wanted to catch the area from the sky to see what was going on. And as we were flying across the valley from Stewart International Airport going west, so all of a sudden we were buzzed by a very fast-moving alien craft. Um, I went to take a picture. I was between the pilot and the cameraman, and I went to push the button on my SLR Minolta camera. And as I started to push the button to take a picture of the areas on the ground, suddenly this voice in my head said, "Wait." And I looked at the pilot, and he wasn't looking at me or talking to me. I looked at the cameraman. He was busy videotaping out the side of the helicopter. And I went to take the picture again and went to push the button. And this voice said, "Wait," very loud. And I said, "What is going on here?" So I waited, and with my finger on the button, and suddenly the voice said, "Now." And I pushed the button, and this light streaked in front of the helicopter. It crossed the valley in a fraction of a second, and it bounced the helicopter. And we were all shocked by this. What in the world? It wasn't until I got my picture developed that I captured this craft right in the middle of my lens, right on film. And the only way you could photograph a bullet coming out of a high-speed rifle is if you were told exactly when that rifle was going to be fired. And then we went across the valley and we circled around, and twice more to take a picture. And this voice said, "Wait." And so I waited. "Now." And when I pushed the button, we had another craft fly in front of us, right across from left to right. Went a little bit further, and we had another time, "Wait." And "Now." And another one flew across in front of us. And when I got those films developed, there the craft was, right in the middle of my lens. So how was that possible unless the pilot was not only able to know when his craft was going to be in front of the camera, but when to tell me and how to tell me to use the shutter to take the picture. I was able to calculate the size and speed of the craft based on how much its plasma lights were moving in a thousandth of a second shutter speed, and it was traveling about 3,600 miles per hour. Wow. So that is one of the types of things that happen to the valley again and again throughout my 11-year study.
We got about a minute to go here before we have to go to break at the bottom of the hour. Dr. Bruce Cornet is our guest tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Dr. Cornet, curious, had you seen UFOs prior to these all of a sudden rash of experiences you were having?
Interesting. I thought I had never seen one, but I had. I had actually been taken aboard them. I was abducted in front of my drill crew in 1981 near Richmond, Virginia. And my crew saw the craft hover over a field next to the drilling rig, beam of light come down. And when they got me, they took me into the craft and they saw me being brought back. And that's all on my YouTube channel. You can listen to the hypnotic regression of what I revealed what they did to me with the craft. So yes, that I really didn't think I had seen that craft, which is bizarre, because when I was returned, I was in a lot of pain and hypothermic, and I stumbled to the front of the mud logging trailer, and there was nobody there. This is a 24/7 drilling operation. And I opened the door and looked out, and the entire crew was in the corner of the well site looking up at the craft. And as soon as I saw the craft, it took off.
And on that note, we're going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. Dr. Bruce Cornet. We're going to learn more about his ET experiences. Our co-host from High Strangeness on YouTube, Roderick Martin, the best beard on YouTube, coming up next on Spaced Out Radio. This is an amazing story. What's your YouTube channel, Dr. Bruce?
Okay, it's just go to YouTube, Bruce Cornet. And that's all you have to do, and it'll pull it up.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And there are many dozens of videos on there of the craft that I witnessed and videotaped out in near Pine Bush.
You got some aliens there, Doc. You got aliens. I like it.
Did you put that stuff on my your webpage for the people? Great.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Man, that's some weird stuff.
Yes, and interestingly enough, the Ancient Aliens isn't interested in it. For some reason, I think they're afraid. They've been told by the government not to do a special story on it.
Well, you got military bases just about everywhere we think there's an underground base. So it's almost like they're working in conjunction. They know that's one place we're not going to, civilians are going to, try to infiltrate. So why not position all that to hide the big secret, right?
I think you're absolutely correct. In fact, I've had witnesses that said that they've seen the cargo trucks by humans driving down these roads into the entrances to these underground bases.
Yeah.
So there's no question in my mind or my friend's mind that they are working with the aliens and they don't want their secret to be revealed.
That I believe. That I believe big time.
Yeah. Yeah. While we sitting here not worrying, but disclosure. I'm like, man, they're playing a whole different game. The game of disclosure will never go away. They're just going to change the rules, but it ain't going to never go away.
You go out and you find that's what really got the government concerned about me, because I just went out there and said, okay, if you're not going to tell us, I'm going to find out. And I found out. They're here.
Well, the fact that there was a voice guiding you, that's the real, not the how, but why, and
well, I have my reasons, and I put it up in my book. I talk about that, about why this was happening to me. And, you can accept it or not. It doesn't really matter. It's there. And the government it knows about it. In fact, what I did is I found this big triangular probe embedded in the rock 9 feet below the surface, sending out signals into space. And they didn't know it was there. And suddenly you get a caravan of military vehicles and soldiers coming out and digging up in the ground, putting things in the ground to be able to monitor it. So I think they were happy that I was out there doing this, because I was putting all my stuff out on the internet, and they could just dial up my web pages and see what's going on.
Right. Crazy.
That's the world that we live in, Dave. It's kind of a cross between crazy and uncrazy.
Yeah.
What would you do if you knew that aliens that look like us are walking them and they can read our minds and they can communicate with us telepathically? That would scare a lot of people.
Dr. Bruce, I personally know. And it's trippy.
Yeah, and I think, when we start looking back at David Grush, remember him giving his stories, and one of the main things, Bruce and Dave, that I focused on when he said that we had abandoned spacecraft, not crashed, abandoned. And that's no different than us looking outside our house and there's an abandoned car, right? I talk about this all the time. Where are they at? That means somebody's walking among us, and we don't care about that, right? Nobody really focusing on, let's go find a driver of these vehicles, but that's it. In order for them to hide, they got to probably look like us, right? So,
Right. Exactly. In fact, depending on how you interpret the Bible,
Hold on, guys. Hold on.
Okay.
Second half hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate earning your listening ears. Reminder to all of you that if you've just missed portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and you can join us in the Space Travelers Club on Patreon. Aliens, ET abduction. Where are they hiding? Underground? Are they coming from space? Do they have bases here? Bruce Cornet, Dr. Bruce Cornet, is looking into this. We are also joined by a special guest host tonight, Roderick Martin, from the YouTube channel High Strangeness. Gentlemen, welcome back.
Thank you.
Dr. Cornet, I want to ask you to kick this off, and I know Roderick's going to have a lot of questions for you as well, regarding the fact that these beings, wherever they were communicating with you telepathically.
Yes.
How did you know it was them, number one, and did you ever find out the species of ET that was connecting with you?
I think I know what the species is, and it wasn't your typical grays. That they were more human looking, and that's just simply because I didn't realize it, but I was literally asked by them if I would help a woman in need back in 1981, and I said yes, and they brought her to me, and she was recovering from cancer surgeries, and she had numerous near-death experiences. And when I met her, I knew that she was the one that I needed to help. And I told her and her young son, well, come and live with me. I just have a new house and you can, have a place to stay. And she did. And she stayed with me for 7 years. And I was amazed at all of her telepathic abilities. I mean, she could see into the future. She could move objects with her mind. She could communicate. And so I, as a scientist, was just fascinated to have this example. I didn't know that she was an extraterrestrial until she died. And then when my mother and I were at her gravesite in Northwest Texas at the Garden of Texas Liberty, which she had selected to where she wanted to be buried, she knew she was going to die. And when I was there with a camcorder, videotaping it for her family, which lived up in the Northeast, her spirit appeared over her grave in brilliant colors, pulsating. And then a second sun appeared in the overhead cloud at 8:30 in the morning and sent down a golden beam of light. It didn't touch the ground, and shafts of light were falling off of it like icicles and crashing on the ground and jumping all over the place. And we saw the colors of her spirit migrating up that golden beam into that second sun. The beam contracted and the sun went out. It wasn't until, that was in 1991, in January 12th and the 20th. And it wasn't until a couple of years later that the technology on the internet caught up with being able to capture images off of videotapes. And I took that videotape that I had taken and did a frame-by-frame analysis, and lo and behold, well, I found out what was in that cloud overhead. It was a huge white dome-shaped mothership, and it for just a short couple fractions of a second, that cloud pulled back and it revealed it. So that was the first indication that Bonnie, my late wife, had been an extraterrestrial. And so you ask, what do they look like? They look just like us, but they have telepathic and psychic capabilities that far go beyond us. So,
where do you think your wife was from?
She told me after she died, she came back and communicated with me for years. They originally came from M13, which is a star cluster, where they actually sent the Arecibo telescope, radio telescope, sent a signal out to it. For some reason, they were very interested in that star cluster. But she said that they have been here on Earth for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years. And they're watching and protecting Earth, basically. So,
Roderick, throw it over to you.
I know you was getting ready to allude to some Bible, because, we all think about, Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, when they say, well, let's make man in our image,
yes,
in the likeness of ourselves. Now that you, and not to know what your religious, where you are, your denomination, but how do you see that scripture, or how do you see things in the Bible now when you now know that they do look like us, or we look like them, so to speak?
Well, they are interdimensional. They can be invisible, and they can take on a human form, and they would appear to our ancestors as angels or gods. And I think the Ancient Aliens television series is right on by saying that that's what they were. They came to Earth and educated us humans, but they also were responsible for creating us.
So do that have you to, did that change your religious views?
No, I still follow the traditional Christian beliefs that there is an ultimate God, so to speak, and yet all of these ETs are basically working as the in being commanded by that ultimate. So the same system exists. It just it takes on a different form.
Yeah. Back to you, Dave.
Bases underground, bases in the water, in the mountains. How does this lead us to the moon and Mars, Dr. Cornet?
Very interesting. During 1993 and 4, actually 4 and 5, I was introduced to a gentleman by the name of Richard Hoagland. I don't know if you've seen any of his material or know about him. He was the one that was promoting the face on Mars. And he was very interested in this complex of what appeared to be pyramid-like structures and the face on Mars, and trying to show that it was intelligently created. Of course, NASA and scientists poo-pooed it. They didn't want to believe that. But now we're at a point in history where we're going to find out. We're finding so many artifacts on Mars that were clearly not natural, that people are beginning to wonder whether or not life on Earth came from Mars. And Dr. John Brandenburg, who at the time worked for was a nuclear physicist that worked for Sandia Labs and the government, he was very much interested in the faces on Mars, and he wrote several books about this, the death of Mars. And he's the one who analyzed the radioactive traces of xenon 129 and determined that there had been 2 huge nuclear explosions on Mars that literally decimated the entire planet. I was shocked when I was listening to him recently. He said, we know the age of those explosions. And I said, how do you know that? He said, because of the analyzing the rocks that came from Mars as that were blasted off Mars and landed on Earth in Antarctica. They were radioactive, and they were able to detect them and determine their age was 500 million years ago. And this was astounding that they have this narrowed down to a specific time, because as a geologist involved in studying the history of life on Earth that goes back to about 500 million years, I know that you had complex life suddenly appearing in the oceans at that time out of nothing. There was no precursors other than maybe some jellyfish, no higher vertebrates or other types of sea creatures. And suddenly the sea floor was crawling with them. Where did they come from? It's called the Cambrian explosion. And timing of that is right at about the time that Mars was nuked. And so whatever life had existed on Mars ended. But then you have something else happening. He took the face on Mars, and he didn't realize at the time that I had done this study in my 24 square mile mapping of the Wallkill River Valley and doing all of the detection of the magnetic anomalies. I discovered some things there that were absolutely mind-blowing that nobody would have suspected. Richard Hoagland had given a talk before the UN, before I became involved with him, about 2 anomalous phenomena in Great Britain called Avebury Circle and Silbury Hill, which he related to the crater on Mars that has a tetrahedron on it and a ridge built out on its outsplash apron, and near that a tholus. And he compared the Silbury Hill to the tholus, and he said that these areas in Great Britain have frequent crop circles being formed in the crops that grow around these areas. And he thought that there was a connection. They were trying to bring our attention to it. Well, I translated that to why was Pine Bush such a hot spot? And I went out and started mapping the valley. And I discovered a crater-like feature that was just south of Pine Bush. And I measured it, and it was 3.2 miles in diameter. And I called up Richard. I said, how wide is the crater on Mars? And he said, it's 3.2 miles. And I said, oh my God, what is the center of the crater on Mars, the latitude? And he said, you're going to have to talk to my other geologist. And I did. And he said it was at 31 degrees, 36 minutes on Mars. And I had already known because I'd mapped the one on Earth, the crater on Earth, and it was at 41 degrees, 36 minutes on Earth, the same latitude. Whoa. I said, wow, what is the probability of that? So then, because Hoagland was comparing the Avebury Circle to the crater and the Silbury Hill to the tholus, I said, well, let me look for the tholus. So I realized the crater was at the same scale as the one on Mars. And so I measured it on topographic sheets. And when my ruler came to the end of the distance that the tholus would be in the direction, there
we lost you there. Yeah, we lost you there for a quick second.
And well, somebody doesn't want this information to get out, I guess. But at any rate, the Tholus was where the Stewart Air Force Base is located in the Wallkill River, Stewart International Airport. It's built right on top of the Tholus. This is pretty amazing. So I said, okay, well, the Holgelin couldn't find the face on Great Britain. So I said, well, let me see if there's something here on Earth. And I took his map of the Cydonia complex on Mars, and I measured the distance. Jim Erjavik, his geologist, had created a map of these anomalies on Mars. I was able to take that information and translate it to Earth. And to the end of my measurement, there was a face on Earth. I found it. It was a mirror image of the face on Mars. We actually have those three preserved and survived the last ice age where the glaciers came down the valley, but they were badly damaged, but there was still enough present to be able to see on the face, the brow ridge, the eye sockets, the nose, the mouth, the chin, all of that. And the one on Earth is a mirror image of the one on Mars. And then I went looking for the base of the DNM pyramid, which is the largest pyramid on Mars. And I found a place on Earth where that DNM pyramid once existed. But the glaciers that came down over 50 to 100,000 years ago just bulldozed that pyramid away and scattered its blocks down the valley. But I was able to find that and even find the bases to several of the pyramids in the city of pyramids that Hoagland described on Mars. So literally, we have the same features on Mars also found on Earth. And what is bizarre is that back in the late 50s, a comic book came out with a picture of the face on Mars. And it looks just like the face. How did they know before we'd even gotten to Mars? The face on Mars that looks like the face on Mars and the face on Earth. I don't know. But we have that now recorded. I have videos describing all of this on my YouTube channel and web pages called the Cydonia Earth-Mars Connection. And I think you have a link to that on your website if you put that material up. And people can find that and take a look at just how amazing this is. Now, keep in mind that all of these features on Earth are on top of the alien base. So who built them? More than likely, the aliens who now live below ground, which I find to be very compelling. And also, I was able to date the building of the Cydonia complex on Mars because I felt that the one on Earth, the complex on Earth, couldn't have survived two ice ages, the ice coming down, the glaciers coming down. They would have been completely obliterated. So it only had to have been one. And what I realized is that I could use my geology to determine the separation of the center of the crater on both Mars and Earth. And even though they are both at approximately 41 degrees 36 minutes, they are separated by about 3,000 feet. And I know that the tectonic plates on Earth are constantly moving. So, and the one on, are no plate tectonics on Mars. So I determined the amount of time it would have taken to move the crater about 3,000 feet away from exactly where the crater on Mars location would be at the beginning. And that this time difference is approximately 118,000 years ago, which is at the beginning of the last ice age or at the end of the last interglacial. And so we appear to have had a spacefaring society or culture or a civilization existing on Earth in New York State at that time during the last interglacial. That's over 118,000 years ago. In addition, we also have Mark Carlotto, who has done a lot of work on reconstructing the face on Mars, and he's also mapped out the magnetic orientation of many of the megalithic structures built on Earth, and been able that there were civilizations existing during the last ice age in different parts of the world that go back at least 50 to 60,000 years. Much further than archaeologists and anthropologists want to admit.
Do you believe the face on Mars is an optical illusion? Or
No.
do you believe that it was carved as something to look down or look up towards the
Yes,
stars?
it was definitely, and as well as those, the DNM pyramid. I mean, we can see that the DNM pyramid, which is almost 1,000 feet tall on Mars, has collapsed, and parts of it have slumped because the ground it was built on was unstable. It still had moisture in it from the previous marine or the sea that had existed there hundreds of millions of years ago. And when they built that pyramid, it started to sag. Excuse me. And when it started to sag, it's what we call mass wasting, and portions of it started to collapse. And you can see that in the very good pictures of it when you do get those pictures, that it had to have been artificial, even though NASA and their geologists said, oh, no, it's just a natural mountain. No, it's not. Not even close. There's nothing like it anywhere around. So that was definitely built, constructed. The question is when. And according to plate tectonics, it was about 1,000 years ago. It was constructed on Mars. So we
Ron,
had
we got 90 seconds.
So we had a spacefaring society that existed on Earth before our current civilizations existed.
Why are we trying to go back to Mars if we already been there?
That's a good question. Maybe because we forgot something. We have to go retrieve it. Actually, for some reason, people want to go to Mars and resurrect that planet after those nuclear explosions had devastated it. They want to give it another oxygen atmosphere, and they want to live there, presumably because we're destroying this planet. And maybe that's the next place to go.
Wow. Wow. I mean, that's an amazing story, especially, just knowing the history of all this and how it aligns up with creation and all the things that's happening here. And yet, on one hand, we ignore it. And then, of course, on the other hand, not living by what has happened to Mars and how it maybe will destroy by the same challenges, the things that we do here, and to duplicate that, right? So,
but the nuclear explosions are definitely artificial. They weren't natural at it by any stretch. John Brandenburg points that out. This because of the kinds of radioactive elements there that can only be produced either in the sun's corona or by a nuclear fission explosion.
All right, Dr. Bruce Cornet is with us talking Mars, the moon, alien contact. Roderick Martin, our special guest. We're going to see if he sticks around for hour two. If not, we'll send him off to counting some sheep. Spaced Out Radio continues right after this.
Am I spaced out enough?
Travis Hunter. Aaron Butler is a two-way weapon.
You're doing great. Next year. Holy cow. Let's take the sledgehammer to it. Oh, you're doing absolutely awesome, Dr. Cornet. Absolutely awesome. Roddy, you going to stick around?
No, actually, I need to go, and then I'm not going to count sheep, Dave, but I've been so cool lately that sheep has been counting me.
Ooh, that's very Chuck Norris.
Yes.
Very Chuck
And,
Norris.
well, actually, I've been going to bed a lot earlier, and about 1:00 my time is the bedtime, so I can wake up a little earlier. You know, I'm juicing and
Yeah.
doing all this revive stuff, and so yeah, I would love to hang around. And
Sorry.
now, if you force your hand and say, Dave the Gestapo and Dave, we're gonna do this like like the Godfather stuff, then I'm here. But I know you'll let me off the hook. I know you will.
I'll let you off the hook tonight. I sent you a message about our roundtable on Friday.
And I'm going to see you in Vegas. You know that. We're going
Reno.
Yeah. Reno, Nevada.
All right.
Appreciate it. Thank you all. All right. We'll talk.
See ya. Dr. Cornet, I'm going to put you in the green room. I'm going to just step away for a quick break. We'll be right back, okay? We got about 4 minutes, okay? And he's frozen. Be right back, guys. All right. right. And hello, gorgeous and talented Kira. Hello, CS. Dave Walters, good to see you. Magnus Vermagnuson, nice to see you. Warden Dragon, thanks for coming on in. Thank you to our super chatters, Gizmo, Cat Chaser, and Louie. Here we go.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Here we go with hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. Join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Traveler. Kazia is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and you can join us on Patreon in the SOR Space Travelers Club. We continue on tonight with Dr. Bruce Cornet. Aliens, they are among us. We've been to Mars. We've been to the moon. Where else have we been? Dr. Cornet, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We very much appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Question for you as we focus a little bit on Mars in the last half hour. The moon. Do you believe we have gone to the moon? And number 2, do you believe that our astronauts saw things while they were up there?
Answer is yes to both of those questions. Yes, we did go to the moon, and yes, they did see things there. I believe that. What is even more outrageous is that back in 1995, October, I got a phone call from France, and the person introduced himself as Neil Armstrong, and he interviewed me about all the work that I was doing in the Wallkill River Valley, and that appeared in a 9-page article in the first edition of Encounters magazine, with his questions and my answers as to what was going on there, what I had discovered in the previous 3 years. And so there's this very strange connection I have with the moon, because Richard Hoagland, who discovered all of these artificial structures on the moon. And in my study of it, I found out that the surface of the moon is largely artificial, at least on our side, the one that's facing the Earth. And it's made up of a glass-like spheres that are about 300 to 400 feet in diameter, that mountains are built of these spheres, and where they are damaged, you can actually see down underneath that the entire underground part of the surface is all structured, much like that of a styrofoam block that has been carved out. And one of the problems that the geologists have been having is understanding how the near side of the moon is so different from the far side. And we do know, for example, that with Hoagland, that there are these remnants of huge glass transparent domes that covering many of what appear to be craters, but the craters are all designed as camouflage. And it became apparent that the moon has not only been inhabited, but it still is inhabited, and that underneath you have a lot of what appear to be activity going on that can only be explained as if that is where the aliens are living and watching as the watchers what's going here on Earth. So I had quite a fun time with Richard Hoagland, mapping all of these features, following him around to see what he's finding, and realizing just how artificial much of the moon lunar surface is. One of the biggest problems that geologists have is that the craters on the near side are all very shallow, much too shallow to have been actual impact craters. They're there for visual camouflage more than anything else. And that the surface of the moon is made up of these, as I said, these glass spheres. And they're even described in the Bible by who is it that went to was taken to the moon or taken up into space in the Bible?
Oh, goodness, I don't recall.
Well, at any rate, he describes it. I have a video out there. If you go on my YouTube channel, you can find that listed, and it talks about all of the details. But the important thing to realize is that nothing about the moon is normal or is natural. And they're starting to find out now on the far side of the moon. We're getting more and more reports. And of course, our government knew this a long time ago, that there are alien bases on the far side. And they are there to this day. And there are humans that have joined them on the moon. So we also have that problem of what is really going on in our satellite. And on top of that, we also have evidence from ancient history that different ancient societies actually have recorded when the moon was put into place. That we may not have had our moon orbiting Earth throughout its history. There may have been another moon, a darker moon, but what is causing the moon to reflect so much of the sunlight that it is a bright reflector, a second source of light in the night sky? And that is something that is caused by the all of the glass that the surface of the moon is made of. And on top of that, the astronauts brought back rock samples and they age dated them. Some of those rock samples were older than the Earth. How is that possible?
That I don't know. Do you believe there are bases on the dark side of the moon or inside the moon that contain extraterrestrials?
Yes, I think there are. In fact, they have a lot of images. People have videotaped them, and you can find them on the internet, of showing craft coming out of craters and going into craters. So, yes. And one of the things that really upset the Apollo astronauts when they landed on is that they had craft on the rim of one of the craters where the aliens were watching the humans. and they couldn't talk about it. That they were prevented from doing. That information did leak out.
I want to get your thoughts on Bill Nelson, the executive director of NASA, spending a cheap $100,000 to go looking for these UAPs and coming out with nothing, coming out with absolutely zip zilch nada, without even looking in NASA's own closet for their own astronauts, their own videos, their own photographs that they have taken since Apollo and Mercury and Gemini regarding UFO activity around their rockets. When you heard him talk about this, what was your reaction to, I'm going to call it blasphemy, of the UFO subject that NASA has stirred up?
Well, I think they're just trying to cover their bases because they've gone for so long ignoring it, or at least not telling the public what they know. And we do know that there are extraterrestrial life has reached Earth. But what really bothers me is the NASA statement that there's no evidence. Of course, you hear that all the time. There's no evidence that ET has actually reached Earth. And yet we have a new paper that's out that is written by Dr. John Brandenburg, just published on this meteorite that crashed into the Pacific in 2014. And it came through the atmosphere so fast that it faster than any meteorite would, and that the Navy went out there and dredged the bottom of the ocean to find fragments of it. And those fragments that they found, they did an analysis of it. And the analysis shows that whatever crashed not only was not a meteorite, because it contains aluminum and iron, but no nickel. Most meteorites contain nickel with iron. And it also contains lithium and beryllium, which are components of a space age metal that we use in our spacecraft because of it's so hard. And in addition, there is uranium and thorium present as well. And Brandenburg says you're only going to get that combination of elements if this was an interstellar, Orion type interstellar probe that had come from outside of our solar system and crashed on Earth. They weren't able to break it in time, and it melted up and broke apart before it hit the ocean. If that is true, Dave, then we do have evidence that ET has reached us. And of course, the one criticism was, well, why couldn't we have made that spaceship, and why isn't that man-made? And he says, because the isotopes of iron in those fragments are iron found in our solar system. And we know what the iron is in our solar system because we got meteorites with iron in it crashing all the time. So it came from outside of our solar system. So we do have direct evidence. Now NASA can't say we have no evidence.
I see that. Do you believe then that NASA has more information hidden within their walls?
I'm sure they
So
do.
what?
I'm sure they do. Because they don't want this out any more than the military wants it out. And I would even go so far as to say is that the ETs on Earth and walking among us don't want that information disclosed either. Why would they? They have they have everything that they need to continue existing here on Earth and influencing and guiding human evolution. Why spoil it?
I've always said that if aliens were going to take over this planet, they would have done so when our best weaponry was spears and bows and arrows.
Yep.
Maybe the odd cannon. Do you believe that the extraterrestrials that are here are of a pathological descent, that they do not like humanity? Do they care about us? What's your thoughts?
Well, from those that I've talked to that say they are ETs, there are some that are here to protect humanity, and there are others here that want to remove humanity. So we have both the light and dark sides of that equation.
So you think there's a combination of both that are here?
Yes, yes.
Who do you think the American government is met with?
Well, whoever supplies the government with the technology that our government wants, and to do that, our government had to agree to allow, you could call them the bad aliens, to abduct humans and experiment on humans.
Do you think then that the United States government is collaborating with alien species to study humans on more than just a primitive level?
Yeah, I think they are also are taking us off planet too, for whatever reason. There are thousands of people that disappear every year. And the question is, where did they go? And from what I've been told, that they could be on some alien's dining table, or on another planet where they're colonizing another planet.
Do you think that the humans that are going are willing?
Unlikely.
What about the ones who talk about the idea that there is, peace, love, and light coming from them, that they have been given health, they've been given duty, they've been given messages, they've flown the craft, they've had these extremely positive experiences regarding their contact? What's your thoughts about that?
Those are the good aliens. They're the ones you want to help. They're not here to harm us. So, as I said, I've met a number of them, and they've demonstrated, like my late wife, Bonnie. She turns out to be one of the main heading the main group of Caledonians. That's what she says, that she has overseen the civilizations of Sumer and Egypt, Babylonia, etc., in the ancient past. And we are all immortal, but she's the one who's recorded by the ancient societies. Her name is Kahra, capital K, small r, small a, which means spirit of goddess. And she is depicted in ancient Egypt as a red sun disk above upstretched arms, which represent the spirit, or Ka. And in that display, Kara is being worshipped by Isis and Nephthys. So, and they are again ETs that ran and oversaw ancient Egypt.
What do you think the ET message is?
Where are they? What? Us to do. They're going to get us to do. They want to constantly upgrade us genetically through hybrids. And there are some who think that that's with the intention of replacing us. Well, that's fine. If they started out with us initially, putting us on Earth, then they are our creators, and they can modify us any way they want. And we don't have much to say about it, do we?
Not really. Not really, especially with the technology that they have in order to move the ball forward, so to speak. They seem to be quite ahead of where we are right now, which is not surprising.
Also, they know of how to manipulate physics in a way that we don't. I mean, there are a lot of theories, and you know, physicists that think they understand how anti-gravity is formed. But one of the things I found when my study in the Wallkill River Valley was that the sounds that they produce to try to mimic conventional aircraft are not normal sounds. When I recorded them and examined them on a spectral analysis, they had reverse Doppler. Normally, you know what Doppler is the sound source approaches you, it is frequency will increase, the way the frequency will decrease. But with reverse Doppler in these ships, whenever they produced the sound, it was just the opposite. The sound frequencies decreased on approach and increased on departure. And I have many examples that are on my websites of this. So this is something that's literally a smoking gun, as Dr. Jack Sarfati has pointed out, that it's through metamaterials in the hulls of these craft that cause this inverse refractive index that changes the normal Doppler to reverse Doppler. And it's that nature of the materials, the metamaterials in the hull, that defies normal gravity. And we're just getting to the point of learning how to create this stuff. And I think our military has already succeeded at that.
Question coming from our audience here. Paramarv is asking, so we got about 90 seconds. Have you ever been visited by men in black or other government agents to persuade you to keep quiet?
That's interesting. No, I haven't. I wondered why. They have tried to get me away from my study area by offering me a job out at NIDS in Las Vegas during 2004. And that didn't work out too well for them. And most of my material, once my book was published, is out there. It's on the internet, on my web pages and videos. And so my primary study has been accomplished. What can I really add to it other than more of the same? I just need people to pay attention to it and realize that there's something going on, Dave, here on Earth that is right under our nose, and we can't even most people are not aware of an alien presence walking among us.
I totally agree with you on that. Totally agree with you. And I think that as we start to educate ourselves, I think, going back since the New York Times article, there's been a great separation between these UAPs, which I don't believe in UAPs whatsoever. I believe in UFOs, and the fact that something has to be piloting them. And
Yes.
if it isn't from here, where is it coming from, and where are they coming from? And we'll talk a little bit more about that and more when we return after the halfway point break on Spaced Out Radio. Dr. Bruce Cornet is our guest tonight. We are having a great time. Welcome to the Woo Train. This is Spaced Out Radio. We will be right back. Stay tuned. There we go. We are clear.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, wow.
You're doing great.
Oh, thank you. It's a long 2 hours. Normally, I usually only speak for an hour. And that's, I've covered most of the main topics that I told you about. Mars is fascinating, and with all of its artificial structures on Mars, and now can be pretty certain that life did exist on Mars, and it may have actually been taken from Mars and put on Earth, and before they destroyed Mars for some reason. Don't know why, but just stick around and we're going to find out.
You got that right, my man.
But I do wish I could have more contact with them. I've done my job, I've completed my assignments, and they don't require my participation anymore. I wish they did. I would like to have more contact with them, believe it or not.
Oh, me too.
I've had 9 different abduction experiences that I've recovered from my memory, either conscious recall or hypnotic regression. And
I know 8 of mine, so we're on the same page.
Yes, and they're by different types. At least 3 different types have abducted me.
Well, my audience knows about this, my regulars. I actually just got my recordings back from Geraldine Orozco. I was waiting for her to pile on and accept my recordings, which I think she has. So that is kind of interesting.
When did have you continued to be abducted or visited in the recent years?
My last communication was in July.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah, and I can't really talk about that one publicly right now.
My last abduction was in January, February in 1995. After that, I guess they were finished with me.
Yeah, no kidding. My last close encounter was in July, and that was probably 25 yards away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did it happen near your house or somewhere else?
Out in the forest. Here we were out there filming, and let's just say some friends decided to show up that we didn't expect.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so I got to be careful with what I say because we haven't signed any NDAs on that yet. So,
gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Well, have you been introduced to any of your hybrid children?
One.
Wow.
I've only seen them. I've never been introduced to them. I've only seen them.
I've been introduced to 3 of mine.
Nice.
2 of them were floating in space when they had a televisual projection over my bed, and they were with a gray and a different type of decompression suit floating over my bed. No, that was pretty cool.
I was on a craft taken. I saw the dude who did the whatever he did to me after he knocked me out. And then when I woke up, I was screaming at him. And that's where I saw the baby walking right behind him, trying to keep up.
And you knew that was your baby?
Yeah, you just know.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on right there. Thank you to Human Carl, Vaughn, Kira, Louis ×2, Gizmo, and Cat Chaser for the great super chats. We're going to continue on with the good stuff here tonight. And don't forget, you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store on our website, spacedoutradio.com. We do not have ugly swag, people. Here we go. Go. So we passed the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. Join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor. Hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire. Check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and you can join us on Patreon in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Final time tonight, we say hello to Dr. Bruce Cornet. We're talking aliens, ET Contact. Are they on the Mars? Are they on the Moon? Are they on Saturn? Are they on Venus? Bruce, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Dave, for having me.
I got a question for you. What about we hear these old time stories of J-Rod or, the who's the Venusian who worked for the U.S.
Thor,
government?
Valiant Thor.
Yeah. What do you think of all that?
I think Valiant Thor, I think that's real. As I said, why don't they look like humans? I mean, if they created us in a way, or they're responsible for our existence, they would look like us because they created us in their image and likeness, right? So I think that's what we're coming to understand, is that we're all connected here. For a long time, people, the scientists, did not like the idea that Valiant Thor and his crew said they came from the planet Venus, because we now know that the surface is too hot and toxic for any life forms to exist. But Thor said, well, we live below ground in underground bases. Well, that makes sense. And if they're underground here on Earth and they're underground on the moon, why not underground on Mars too?
No, very true. Very true. Do you think then that if Valiant Thor is still here?
I've heard that he is. I've not seen him, but I've know people who have seen him or talked to him and say he's still here. Yes.
Now, who are these people that you're talking to?
Okay. Well, one is Karen Wallow. She lives in New Jersey. She's a musician and a painter. And she says she came from Venus. So, although there's no way of verifying that or validating that, she's as information the Valiant Thor episode, and so does Susan Johnson, who lives in Miami. She says she works with a group of aliens and knows where they're from, the planet, and has been from there and incarnated it as a human. And can't wait to get off this planet and go back home.
I've heard a lot of ET contactees say that. A potential hybrids say that. You know, that they're all waiting for them to come home. So do you, outside of the moon and Mars, where do you think aliens are living within our universe?
Well, on a number of the moons of Jupiter and Saturn, etc. Have you heard of the book The Coming of Tan
No, I have not.
by Riley Martin? It was published around 1995-96. It's about his experiences of being abducted and taken to their huge base at the size of a small moon orbiting Saturn. And he described two different types of aliens that share that base. One that looks humanoid, like us, but the other is very reptilian-like, called the Tarxicians. Wow.
Intense.
I'm starting to have a problem here. I don't know why.
You feel like channeling some aliens for us?
Yeah, I'm not feeling well right now.
Okay.
So
If you want to cut the interview early, we can do that due to your health. Absolutely.
thank you, because I'm starting to feel nauseous, and I don't know why. Maybe I'm not supposed to talk anymore. But yeah, I would prefer that if that is possible.
Not a problem. We can. I'm pretty sure I could keep things going here.
Okay,
Pretty
thank you
sure.
very much.
Yeah, you good feeling better. We definitely want you to come back on and feel strong and better, because these are important topics.
Right, I'm going to go lie down right now.
All right.
Lie down. Thank you very much.
You let me know how you feel after, okay?
Okay, we'll do.
All right. Bruce Cornet, everybody. That got a little weird right there. All of a sudden, he just started feeling sick. Well, then. That's a change of show plans. It's weird, though, because sometimes, and I've talked to other people who are major experiencers, sometimes when the ETs have had enough of what you're saying, they kind of make you shut up in one way or another. Like all of a sudden, there's no answers, and you're not feeling well, and your head starts spinning. Could it be age? Could it be just past his bedtime? Sure, it could. But you have to look for the signs. You have to look for the signs. I know we have some questions lined up from our audience here, and I'm not going to be able to get to them. So if you're in our YouTube chat and you have any questions that you would like me to answer, just feel free to type them in, and we'll make sure that we get your questions on. But yeah, ET abduction and the feelings that go around with it, it is not a comfortable feeling. You know, I know with me, when I've been taken, I've felt this almost like this gravitational pull. You ever ride it's been named 100 different names, but you go to a carnival and they have that gravity ride around my area. They used to call it the Gravitron. Believe it or not, now it's called alien abduction. It's amazing. They just paint it once every 25 years and change the lighting on it. And now they have a new name called alien abduction. Okay. When you lie on that board and the ride starts spinning and the gravitational forces suck you against the wall, and you try and pull your head off or your arm off, and you're like, it feels like you're weighing about, 300, 400, 500 pounds plus. That's what it feels like for me when they are coming, is I feel that gravitational pull. And it's like, oh God, here we go again. Dave's got aliens. What will they allow me to remember this time? That I don't know. I really, really don't know. Vaughn's asking, Dave, did you feel a connection to your hybrid child? I think it was mine. I don't know. Found it odd that there was a child there when I was on the craft. So I hope that answers your question. So I'm debating something on doing something tonight, and little Timmy Senor doesn't even know about this yet. And that is, I actually have the audio from Geraldine Orozco from my 2021 hypnotherapy session with her that I thought was about 20 minutes, but is actually 2 hours long, that I had in my hotel room in San Francisco at UFOCon 2021. I'm debating whether or not to play some of this because this is raw stuff. I don't know what's on there. I don't know. I mean, I could be making a complete ass of myself. I don't know what I said. I really don't know whether I should play it. Little Timmy Senor,
Yeah.
what do you think?
Oh, I think you should play it. We want more, Dave. We need to know. Serve it up.
Well, let's ask or answer a couple questions here. Pixie Lars asking, what are your thoughts on the idea of a Mars origin and the structure of the moon? I think that we have been to the moon before, and I think we stayed. I really do believe we have people on the moon. No inside information on that one. Wink, wink. But I do believe we have people on the moon. And this is just all part of certain confirmations that we got to go through. Mars, different story. I think there was humans up there at one point. That is not any sort of information. That is what I want to believe. That is what I want to believe. All right, let's see what else we have here. I don't know if this will play through. YouTube audience, you'll have to tell me if you can hear this. Oh, there was a problem playing this audio file. Download. So apparently I have to download this now. All right. See what happens here. Hopefully it'll play. Hold on, it's decoding. This is long. So how long is it? This portion is an hour. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. Let's try it.
So take a look at you here on this eagle. What do you look like?
Can you hear that, Tim?
Yep.
Who are you here?
I see myself,
I'm going to try and turn it up here.
but like younger, like 20.
Okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to boost the audio of this, okay? And I'm going to see where this goes because I can barely hear this thing. I got to be able to hear this thing. I want you guys to hear it. Once again, this is me under hypnosis with Geraldine Orozco from our spiritual you. Okay. I don't know where this is going. I've never heard this before. So
Wow.
let's try this out.
Beautiful. So take a look at you here on this eagle. What do you look like? Who are you here?
I see myself, but like younger, like 20, 21.
Mm-hmm. Very good. And what are you wearing at this moment? Does it look like you in this lifetime?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Ball cap, t-shirt, shorts.
Mm-hmm. Very good. So let's go ahead and see what happens next. Where do you go?
There's a tree stump,
Mm-hmm.
very thin,
Mm-hmm.
and it's got a candle sitting on it. Candle is burning.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what this means.
Very good. And what is that candle for?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of weird.
Very good.
I don't remember any of this.
What happens next?
I'm apparently breathing.
What do you see?
So for people on our radio side who don't know what we're doing here, I just want to point out that I've been waiting for a couple of years to get this and this is my hypnosis with Geraldine Orozco, and I don't know what is on here. So you're hearing it raw, just like I am for the first time.
Sorry,
What do you see?
I was in a cab,
Mm-hmm.
just talking. I don't know who the people were.
Okay. Where are you headed?
I don't know.
Let's go ahead and follow and see where you go.
It's gone.
It's gone. Mhm.
Yeah. It was like in that heavy dream like state.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you fall asleep and you start your immediate dreams.
Yeah.
I don't know what the cab did. There were 3 other people.
Okay. So what did those people look like? Can you remember?
No,
Mm-hmm.
they were human, not alien.
Yeah.
All I heard was one guy, hey, let's all go take a ride too. And all of a sudden I heard your voice.
Mm-hmm.
And I was gone. Can't even tell you what it looked like.
Very good.
Oh, I'm
Let's.
up at the sky again.
Okay.
That is deep blue sky.
Beautiful.
I'm looking through a window.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I'm almost squinting. It's so bright.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bar.
All right.
There's always a bar involved. I don't even drink. There's always a bar involved.
Mm-hmm.
We're going vertical. Van Halen's Dreams is playing in the background.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of the song where it says, we'll get higher and higher, straight up we'll climb.
Very good. And where do you go?
So that's pretty cool. Did you hear that? Where I was talking about apparently I'm in this vehicle and we're going up, and Van Halen's Dreams is playing in the background where I'm repeating the lyrics where it says, and we'll get higher and higher, straight up we'll climb as this is going on.
Yeah.
This is kind of cool. I'm getting freaked out here.
And just to reiterate, you said Van Halen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I?
No. Yeah.
Oh my God, I meant Van Halen.
Van Halen is much cooler. But yeah, we get it. That was cool.
Here we go.
Inside the atmosphere. There's blue sky.
There's blue sky.
Out, there's something yellow. Looks like a napkin. That's really bright blue.
Is it a light?
No, like a yellow napkin. I don't know what the hell that means. And then if I look up, it's all dark.
All right. Where are you called to go? To the light or to the dark?
Oh, we're going to space, maybe.
All right, let's go.
All right, we're going to space, man.
Describe what you see along the way.
I can feel behind me the Earth's getting further away to the point where it's going to become a speck. There seems to be a shadow meeting this moment right in front of me.
Is that awfully quiet? Like, should I boost it again? Yeah, let's boost this up again. Try and get a little bit more noise for you guys so that way you can understand a little bit more of what I'm saying here during my regression. Oh my, that boosted it up. Hold on. That boosted it up way too high. Hold on here. This is I'll be honest with you. I'm a little freaked out here.
Yeah.
I'm a little freaked out. I don't know what's going to play here. All right. I gotta find that spot again.
What else?
Give myself credit.
We have some questions about Dave. Can we ask you these questions?
I'm not the guy to ask.
No? Okay.
No.
Well, what message do you have for Dave? Why are you here?
Because he's got to keep pushing.
How come? How come he has to keep pushing? Isn't he tired?
It's who he is. It's what he's about.
What's the end goal with this project?
That's he'll figure it out. He knows what's going on.
Okay.
We told him before.
Who the hell am I channeling?
Doesn't listen. It's too stubborn.
Very good.
Cool.
So weird, man.
Anything else that we need to know?
That is so weird. So weird. We only got about 30 seconds left before we got to go to break at the top of the hour. Do we or do we not continue with my regression? What do you think?
It's
Timmy,
creepy. Yeah, I think we should keep it rolling. I would love to hear more when we come back. Yeah.
It is kind of creepy.
Yeah.
It is totally kind of creepy. And I'll be honest, I'm not going to lie. I'm a little weirded out by it right now.
Never heard it before?
Weirded out.
It's
no,
creepy.
I have never heard this before. This is fresh audio. And it's been sitting in my email for today. All right. We're going to skip Steve Stockton next. We are going to get to my regression. If it gets a little weird, I will cut it out. Because I don't know what I'm saying on Spaced Out Radio. I'm like pulling my hair out right now, dude. I don't
It's
even
got to be
know.
creepy. It's got to be creepy hearing yourself talk when, you know, you have no recollection of that conversation.
No,
Yeah.
no recollection. No
Yeah.
recollection.
The funny thing is like you're talking in third person, like about like yourself, you
Yeah.
know, like he's not going to get this or whatever, you know. It's interesting
Yeah.
to hear you talking about yourself. But
Yeah.
you did coin Van Halen tonight, which is
That
pretty
was
cool.
weird. That was totally weird. I didn't even mean to do that.
That was a perfect blend
Didn't even
of your
mean to
two
do
favorite things. It's your two
Aliens,
favorite. You need a Van Halen t-shirt.
Yeah, I'd probably get my hand slap for that one. I probably would. Hey, Timmy, I'm going to step out for a minute. You
Yeah,
wanna
me
go in
too.
Okay, we'll be right back, people. We'll continue with this when we return. All right. It's kind of a weird night now. kind of a weird night. I got an email from Bruce Cornet saying, I'm sorry I had to stop the interview. I had a wave of nausea come over me. I began sweating a cold sweat, and I became dizzy. I'm lying down and beginning to feel better. It was though I was under attack. I will let you know how I feel later. Thank you for having me on the show. Hold on. I forgot to close the studio door. All right. Let's bring Timmy in. Little Timmy, what's going on?
Not much. I had some fun with your after hours show last weekend. I sent Rob G a bunch of photographs of lightning that I'd taken right at my house here in Salem.
Cool.
Where I've had lots of luck capturing UAP and orbs and all kinds of stuff. So I got to share that with the after hours crew. It's so fun.
All right, buddy. We got 5 seconds, and we're going to rock and roll here.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Here we go with the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. Join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Kasia. Kasia is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets a password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and you can join us on Patreon at Spaced Out Radio. Just because he's here, we can't have him too much longer without playing his intro. Here's the intro to Little Timmy Senor in the UFO Report.
Nobody's gonna know. They're gonna know.
I always go into like a trance when that happens. Such an awesome theme song, my man. Such an awesome theme song. So let's break down what we're doing tonight. Okay. Is in 2021 at UFO Con in San Francisco, I had a, how do you put it? A hypnotherapy session with Geraldine Orozco, who you could hear on this show at any time during the month. Geraldine comes on once a month for the Spiritual You, and she hypnotized me. And it was all about trying to get to my contact with extraterrestrials. And I have never heard the audio. She had sent it to me in 2021, and I lost the login and could not get in. So tonight, earlier before the show, she re-emailed it to me, and I was able to, I have not listened to it yet. I've never listened to it before. So I figured, you know what? Let's play it for the audience. See what they think. Now, I'm not somebody who fully believes in hypnotism, but I do believe you can do it. I don't know what's on this tape. I really don't. So we started playing it in the last 15 minutes of the last half hour. And right now, apparently, we're going into space. Tim, what's your thoughts so far?
I think it's incredible. I think it's interesting that, it's very obvious that you're in deep sleep, because I've been around you when you've been sleeping and you're in very deep sleep or rest mode there, because you're doing that breathing thing you do, and you can hear
Yeah.
that. So, you're definitely under at this point. So whatever's happening, you're in that state, So
All right, let's play
I'll
it.
go for that.
Let's play it.
You're right. I see somewhere in the middle with a lot of smoke. Like a pillar in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of smoke.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. So let's fast forward to another moment in time. I want you to take yourself to another very important time in which we can answer these key questions. I'm going to count from 3 to 1, and I want you to go up to the highest expression possible. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Where are you?
Some gray abyss.
Mm-hmm.
There's like an eyeball there.
Mm.
It's a blue eye. Eye of wisdom. It's female. But at least it looks that way because of the makeup.
Mm-hmm.
It's black.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Is it right eye or left eye? So left eye.
That's right. Very good. So what is this place? Take a look around. Is it just where people come to get answers? Can we ask some questions here?
It's funny when you asked that the first time. I got like a vendor at a baseball game where they were like peanuts popcorn.
Uh-huh.
Peanuts popcorn. Really? We're selling freaking peanuts and popcorn.
Okay.
Guess it's going to be entertaining.
Right. So let's tune in to this eye of wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and see. What does this eye of wisdom have to tell you?
It's female.
Mm-hmm.
They need to show confidence.
Mm-hmm.
More confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Something about confidence there.
So how can we become more confident? What is it that we need in order to be confident?
Right. David's on a different level
Mm-hmm.
than everybody else.
Mm-hmm. Tell me more.
Tell you more.
How so?
See lots of politics right now.
Mm-hmm.
I know, jumping all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of division. A lot of hate.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently I snore a lot.
Is this affecting Dave? This division?
I'm sorry?
Is this division affecting Dave?
Kind of. My mind is trying to sway. They keep throwing up blocking images that when I go in deeper, almost like when I'm asleep,
Mm-hmm.
they keep throwing up blocking images of everything that you are asking.
Mm-hmm. That's okay.
It's confusing.
That's okay. No worries. We're just exploring here. We're going to go as deep as we can and just explore everything that comes up without any expectations. Very good. So
while we're continuing, just for audience who are trying to figure out what the hell we're doing here, in 2021, I had a regression therapy session with Geraldine Orozco. I've never heard the tape before, so that's what we're listening to right now. So I apologize about the audio. I pumped it up as loud as I can, so I'm not blowing out the speakers on this end, but let's continue.
Is that Eye of Wisdom still around?
Yeah, somewhere.
Okay. So I want you to tune in to that Eye of Wisdom and just quietly listen for a message and speak it out.
Are you still there?
Yes.
Let's see. Looking down, there's a height. There's a solar system. It looks like swirling and turning. And there's a big bright light just on the edge of the inner circle. Not sure where this is, but it's a bluish green with yellowish stars all through it. White stars all through it. It's kind of beautiful, but it's down there. It's not up here. Over here it's green.
Apparently, I'm describing a solar system right now.
Up is very dark. Is anybody there talking to? I feel like I'm waiting for somebody.
Okay. Let's see if they come. Let's go ahead and tune in to our mind's eye and see who comes.
I feel like there's a blank wall there.
Okay. Let's go over to that blank wall. Let's just visualize that it's going to be dissolving. Go ahead and see a door in that wall. And I want you to open that door and walk inside. Behind this door lies all the hidden truths and Dave's highest expression. Walk inside. What do you see?
Can you repeat that again, please?
Yeah, just gently see that wall and you're going to see a door. Go ahead and open that door in that wall and walk inside. What do you see? Where are you?
It's weird. They're showing me the state of California, and it's filled with gold, like swirling gold.
Wow.
But there's a break off, probably about half to 2/3 of the way up. So not the ocean side, on the land side. It's just sitting there alone.
Amazing. What else?
So we just came down a stairwell and said, Dave nominated. Then ran back up. I don't know what that means.
We're just going to go a couple more minutes here, Tim. This is so
ready.
Mhm.
Right here. Hmm. What else good?
Take a look around. What else do you see?
Lots of bright white light. But this is different. Like if I look over here, the white light is very penetrable.
Mhm.
It would hurt my eyes.
Mhm.
Go over here.
Bright white light that was hurting my eyes. Heard that before, Tim?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Tim likes to capture UFOs when I say bright white light bugging my eyes.
Either
But
me
it's-
or Terry. Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Okay, let's continue on.
So doctor. Oh, she's here.
Mhm. Where do you want to go? To the light or to the dark?
Hmm?
Which one should we explore? The light or the dark?
The light.
All right, let's go ahead and go there.
There's this rock room. Big rock wall. It's got these little cubby holes there that you can sit in like windowsills.
Mhm.
They're very tall, almost church-like.
Mhm.
On the right, there seems to be like the doors to an auditorium. And one of the doors is pseudo-graded. Hold on. Let me focus. There's an auditorium there. I don't know if there's people in there. They want me to go in and speak. I told me I had nothing. So where they're all closed. It does you just speak up. Now I'm in a hockey rink.
Of course.
Mhm.
Safe spot. Got a manager looking to unload some gifts. 7 million.
I don't
Mhm.
even know what the hell I'm saying here, to be blunt. But I'm in a hockey rink,
What else?
apparently. Go figure.
I heard you say feral cats.
Mhm.
I don't know what feral cats are anything to do with this.
Mhm.
That's what trips me out. Feral cats, what the hell does that mean, Jeremy? Why are you chasing cats in the wild?
Take a look around and see what they do.
I don't see any cats. That's silly.
Very good. So now let's go higher.
Okay.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now that we're here, I'm going to count to 3 and you're going to go even higher.
Good.
3, 2, 1. Be there now.
Mhm.
Where did you go?
Up north.
Okay. What's
I
up?
got land here on Earth. I'm in like the Northwest Territories.
Wow. What's there?
Nothing but cold.
Mm-hmm.
And a bunch of Eskimos that are laying down face first
Wow.
because they're looking for fish in the water.
Mhm.
So it's actually kind of cool. See that done.
And who are you here? Look down at yourself. Look at your feet. What does it look like? Describe your feet.
I'm sorry?
Describe your feet. What do they look like? As you
My
look,
feet?
yeah, as you look down at yourself, who are you here?
My feet look bigger.
Yeah.
My skin looks greater.
Okay, keep going up. Describe the rest of your body.
There's armor on my shins.
Uh-huh.
My brass.
Mm-hmm. Are you a green bean?
My hands are green.
Uh-huh.
My fingers are stubbier.
Yeah. Keep going up. Let's take a look at our face. What does our face look like? Describe your face.
Dragon-like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very good.
But peaceful, not scary.
Mm-hmm.
So now apparently I'm a green being wearing brass armor. What the hell is going on here?
It's so interesting. And also, before you continue, do you think it's possible that that big, what you're thinking was a hockey rink, with the two large white doors, could have been something else, and all those feral cats that you're describing running around and chuckling
know.
about? Do you think maybe that was something else and these were screen memories or something that you were like putting into words as something else? Or do you think it was literal? Do you have any, what's your perception when you hear this? Do you think it was a screen memory or do you think it's literal? Hearing this now, what do you think?
I really don't know, Tim. I
Hmm.
really don't know. I'm kind of
Yeah, 'cause
weirded out by it because it's
she's
all over
not,
the place. She's
yeah,
not leading. The one thing I will say
not,
about
yeah.
her, she's not leading me into answers. Okay, she's asking questions of things that I brought up. There's no leading, like we always hear about hypnotherapy, about people can lead into questions. I haven't heard her lead me into a question yet.
Yeah, I liked that you also saw California, and on the ocean side, just 2/3 of the way up, it's gonna break off. Like, Dave, what are you predicting that? Or
I don't know.
that was bizarre to hear.
I
And,
really don't know.
that's not great news to any Californian, Dave predicting that it's gonna crumble away. And then the other question about what confidence was, you said grace, and then you said something else, but your first word was grace. I thought that was really cool. I just wrote down a few little awesome things. Obviously, the bright light. I mean, that's
That
a
was
Dave
true
thing.
because that's
That
exactly what happened when we were out in the forest.
in the forest. And also it's happened to you when you were in BC and we were in Utah and you called Terry and told him where to aim the cameras. Remember last summer, not this summer, but last year.
Right?
So that was
So
cool too. So
that
that
was kind of
relates.
interesting. So
Yeah.
the big question is here, because we only got like 30 seconds left
Okay.
before we got to go to break. Do we continue with this?
Oh
Or do you
yeah.
want to get to, you think so?
Yeah. I mean, this is a
I
once in
am
a lifetime thing.
I am going to say if it starts getting personal to do with anything with my family, I will shut it off.
Of course.
Okay, because that's personal. It's
Yeah.
no offense to our audience. So for people listening in and wondering what the hell we're doing, in 2021, I did a regression therapy with Geraldine Orozco. And this is the first time I'm hearing it tonight. So let's see if we can continue this when we return. See what kind of high strangeness I can bring to the table and the woo for all of you right here on the Mighty SOR. Stay tuned, everybody. So weird.
Yeah. And
So
you know what?
weird.
I've got a little more taste of weirdness. You know how your first guest left early because he was not feeling well?
Yeah.
Since you and I started talking, I've gotten the worst headache. And I was fine before, but just like bam, like hit me with a ton of bricks, like once we started listening to this. It's crazy. It's crazy. So we don't there's nothing we need to cover in the news that's imperative today. We got Friday, but maybe during the break we can at least mention that the alien face peelers are being investigated firsthand this week by Tim Alberno, right? Alberno?
Yeah.
Alberino? I'm not sure how to say his last name properly, but he Alberino, and he's got a YouTube channel, and his Alberino, thank you. His most recent YouTube video explains that he has just left this past Monday to go to Peru on an alien expedition to those locations where there have been claims of alien interaction, jetpacks, face peelers.
Oh yeah, that's good woo right there. That's high quality woo.
Yeah, and he's taking the villagers, obviously some amenities and high-powered flashlights, I think, and some other things to help them at night because they're doing patrols. So he's taking them a bunch of gear as well, which I think is also so it's semi-humanitarian as well, which is great. But the excursion itself, he's gonna have to, I think, go upriver, something like 8 hours. Sounds like not a big deal, but you know, in South America, that's a big deal with a bunch of gear. And, so he's got quite an excursion ahead of him to go and see if he can come back with evidence of what's really going on down there. So, there's rumors of it being drug traffickers or like whatever, this and that. But there's also a lot of perfectly verifiable and potentially verifiable accounts of aliens. Jetpack aliens and abductions and face peelings and horrible alien interactions and a war basically going on between aliens and humans. So what's your opinion on that? Because there's a lot of stuff in the headlines.
Dude, they got aliens down there. They got some aliens down there.
Terrifying aliens.
Face peelers.
I mean, those aren't I don't want to think that they're doing that. I thought that they were benevolent. I was hoping they were benevolent, let's say. But your feral cats, I was taking notes. Your feral cats obviously peel faces
feral cats
in their downtime. Yeah. Yeah, listening to you, I can tell you're under because of your breathing and just how you're talking. You can tell you're totally hypnotized. That's really interesting. Does it feel like, and by the way, kudos for being brave enough to share this with the public, your first time hearing it, so you haven't even censored it. That's totally brave and awesome of you, dude. It's, it's cool.
Yeah. It's kind of like, okay, let's just go for it.
I mean, are you going to think differently after what you've heard so far? Like, does it make you feel a little different about things, or?
I'm a little weirded out. I'm not gonna lie. A little weirded out.
You haven't internalized or really interpreted all of it yet, but do you think it could be screen memories of something else, and this is your way to interpret it verbally?
Son of a gun, it could be, man.
I mean,
totally could be. I really don't know.
Right.
I really don't know.
She conducts it really well. She just keeps you going deeper and deeper. I liked that she just suddenly broke out of what she was doing and had you look at your feet. And you're like, describing stubbier, but bigger, kind of wider feet. And then she's like, what's on what do your shins look like? You're like, brass armor.
Brass armor on the legs, man. Yeah.
That's trippy.
Trying to look like random guy's 1996 Halloween costume.
Did she say how many fingers you had? Because
I don't
it
know.
was
We're
gray
getting
stubby
it.
fingers. You had
I
gray
don't
stubby fingers.
Let's say thank you to Louis ×3, Cat Chaser, Gizmo, Kira, Vaughn, Human Carl, Juan ×2, Christine, and Simon for the great super chats. And we're going to continue this right now, everybody.
Sweet.
Right now. Here we go, the final half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate you tuning us in. Reminder to all of you that if you missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire. Check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and you can join us on Patreon by joining the Space Travelers Club. Tim Senor is here for the UFO report. We're doing something a little bit different tonight. If you're just tuning us in, back in 2021, I had a hypnotic regression, trying to figure out whether or not I got aliens. Geraldine Orozco, a good friend of mine, did the regression therapy. We're kind of listening to it right now, and we're about 24 minutes into it. Tim, your thoughts so far?
Well, so far, it's spooky. It's spooky. You're definitely under, and you're definitely deep, and she's doing a really good job keeping you under and kind of on a path of staying under. I mean, so far, it feels like you're describing things with, I don't know, a screen memory. It feels like you're describing things that happened in another world. Even you described solar systems, you described skin colors that weren't yours, your own body descriptions weren't your own. It's getting pretty interesting. I love it. I can't wait for more.
Let's hit play. Great woo, by the way. Fantastic woo.
So take a look at you here on this eagle. What do you look like? Who are you here?
I see myself, but like younger, like 20, 21.
Mm-hmm. Very good. And what are you wearing at this moment? Does it look like you in this lifetime?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
All cap, t-shirt, shorts.
Mm-hmm. Very good. So let's go ahead and see what happens next. Where do you go?
There's a tree stump, very thin, and it's got a candle sitting on it. The candle is burning. I don't know what this means.
Very good. And what is that candle for?
I don't know.
Very good.
I don't know.
What happens next?
Did you restart this by chance? Because we heard this, I think.
Oh, yeah, it did restart for some reason.
So take a look at you
I thought
here
that
on
sounded
this
a little
eagle.
bit-
What do you look like?
Hold on.
Great.
Hold on.
What
We're
else?
here.
24 minutes in.
Say feral cats.
Mhm.
There's the damn feral cats.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we're here, I'm going to count to 3, and you're going to go even higher.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Be there now.
Mhm.
Where did you go?
I went north.
Okay. What's
I
up?
got land here on Earth. I'm in like the Northwest Territories.
Wow. What's there?
Nothing but cold.
Mm-hmm.
And a bunch of Eskimos that are laying down face first
Wow.
as they're looking for fish in the water.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of cool. See that don't.
Uh-huh. And who are you here? Look down at yourself. Look at your feet. What does it look like? Describe your feet.
I'm sorry?
Describe your feet. What do they look like? As you
My
look,
feet?
yeah, as you look down at yourself. Who are you here?
My feet look bigger.
Yeah.
My skin looks greener.
Okay, keep going up. Describe the rest of your body.
There's armor on my shins.
Uh-huh.
My brass.
Mm-hmm. Are you a green bean?
My hands are green.
Uh-huh.
My fingers are stubbier.
Yeah. Keep going up. Let's take a look at our face. What does our face look like?
There's my
Describe your
snoring.
face.
Dragon-like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very good.
But peaceful, not scary.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a name? See if you could hear a name.
I feel like I need to name something, but I don't know what I'm supposed to name.
Mm-hmm. Just try to vocalize it as best as you can.
I feel like I'm being bullied right now.
Why? By whom?
Wait.
I don't know what the hell that meant.
I don't even know.
Mm-hmm.
I feel so all over the place right now, random.
You're doing great. You're doing amazing. Take a look at yourself as this green being. What do you do here in this place?
Scored a B instead of an A.
Uh-huh. Tell me more. Can you tell me more about this experience? What do you do on a daily basis?
What do I do? I see computers.
Mm-hmm.
I see studious boxes
Mm-hmm.
full of paper waiting in the filing cabinet. The filing cabinet is always full.
Mm. Very good. Keep going.
Apparently I'm sleeping again.
Okay. Perfectly fine.
Okay.
Okay. Let's try to go up now to a higher place.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to go to the very last day of your life here as this green being. 3, 2, 1.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you? Who are you with? This is the last day of your life.
I'm on a ship,
What kind of ship?
a light ship.
Beautiful. Where are you going?
We're by the sun.
Oh, my
The
light
sun
ship.
has a lot more green and purple in it than people give credit for.
Oh.
Not just yellow.
Is this Earth solar system?
Yeah.
Oh, very good. So what are you doing here by the sun? Do you get taken into the sun? What do you do here
What do I do here?
by the sun?
We're just sitting there watching it
Uh-huh.
and watching it like change colors.
Wow.
It's beautiful.
Wow.
I'm actually taking a sip of a drink watching it.
Oh, beautiful.
I don't know what's in the drink, but it's sweet.
Uh-huh.
Don't get fat over here.
Uh-huh. Who's there with you?
My handler,
Mm-hmm.
The
Who
handler.
is that? Describe
his
them.
name is Paul.
Mm-hmm.
That is Paul.
He's on this side too.
Mm-hmm. And what does he do there while you're drinking?
This is so weird, dude.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes, what does he do there while you're drinking your drink on the ship? What's his job?
He reports to the people flying speed up or to slow down.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what kind of work do you have? What's your role here? What's your role here on this ship as this green being with your handler, Paul?
I'm an observer.
Mm-hmm. What are you here to observe?
Everything on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Humanity, animals.
Mm-hmm. How does it benefit him or them that you are observing this?
I'm having trouble concentrating.
Okay. You're doing fine. You're doing fine. Taking a nice deep breath and allow yourself to relax. You are well rested. You are calm. You are centered.
So we should give an update here, Tim. So what we're doing is going through a regression therapy with Geraldine Orozco that I took in 2021. And this is getting weird. Now, apparently I'm on a craft circling the sun, having a drink with my handler named Paul. I don't know any Pauls. Kind of weirded out here, Timmy.
Yeah, it's getting a little creepy. And she's doing a great job. You know, she lets you go deeper and then she asks the right questions. And so I'm curious, do you think that you're like, maybe you're channeling some green dude at this point or something?
I don't know.
I have so many questions, but
Oh,
it's deep. It's definitely deep. Did she give you her interpretation or anything after this? Or are you guys going to have a conversation next time?
We might have a conversation next time about it.
You should.
I don't know. Shout out to little Jimmy Goodall in the chat room. The legend.
Here he
The
is.
legend is back. Good to see you, Jim. All right,
Awesome.
let's continue on here.
Beautiful. So take a look at you here on this eagle. What do you look like?
Why did you go back to the start again?
Yeah, that's frustrating.
Go ahead and visualize that you're about to leave the body. Where do you go? Where do you go next?
Where do I go next? Where do I go next?
Thing wants to come.
Flashes I can't understand. I don't know. They keep these little flashes I can't understand. It takes away from my concentration level.
Every little flash that happens, I want you to focus on it and describe it. See if it takes you somewhere. I think something wants to come through. Do you want to let it through?
I'll try my best.
Okay. Let's try. In the meantime, describe everything you see.
I don't know why, but Katy Perry is coming through.
Okay, Katy Perry, let's go ahead and let her through.
Oh, I have.
Okay, so Katy Perry, okay, is my celebrity crush. Okay, but here's the weird thing. She has also taken in private meetings regarding UFOs. It's actually believed that she is an experiencer as well.
Did you know that I mean, are you surprised to hear Katy Perry right now? That name?
This whole thing's weird.
I mean, I'm like, it felt random to me, but maybe
Totally. Let's see where it goes.
Okay.
Let's see where it goes because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a crush. Got a crush on
Very
her.
good.
Okay.
I think she's listened to my show.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. So go ahead and tune in. What's the message there with her?
Good. I'm with you.
Mm-hmm. So she knows you. You've seen her before.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Was it a ship?
There's this metallic thing that looks like watch, giant watch.
Mm-hmm.
Giant watch.
Mm-hmm.
That's slowly going counterclockwise.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like there's these canyons sitting all around it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a hole in the middle. And this is where her and I are seated.
Mm-hmm. What happens next?
I don't get why Beyonce's Halo is playing in the background. I hate that song.
Okay.
I'm confused.
Just watch and keep going. Keep describing what happens.
I'm confused. I'm looking at her, and she's like, I'm asking her why she knows me on this end.
Uh-huh.
But she doesn't know me down there.
Okay.
And she's just sitting there staring, not saying a thing. Almost like she's not even in her own body.
So see if is it really her?
Smells like her.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently it smells like her.
Mm-hmm.
How do I know that?
Mm-hmm. So as you see her, what does she do? What does she want from Dave?
I see her like reaching,
Mm-hmm.
and and certain types of books or something. Pull your label out.
Mm-hmm.
She pulled my name out. I don't know what that means.
Okay.
She's not saying anything.
Okay.
I'm too shy to say anything to Katy Perry.
Okay. But is it really her? Or is it someone else?
No, it's her.
Okay.
Cool.
Too
And
shy.
on that note, I got to end it there.
Just too shy to talk to Katy Perry.
Too shy to talk to Katy Perry on an aircraft. So, Katy Perry, if you're listening, apparently we have been aboard a spacecraft together. Let's go sing Alien together. Oh,
I think she's safe. He's too
I don't
shy,
want her.
y'all.
I'm too shy. I'm too shy. Yeah.
This has been fun. Thank you so much for sharing that. I know your audience didn't hear a lot from me, but tonight was about that. And honestly, I have a lot to think about with that. That was really interesting, man. Thank you so much again for sharing.
You know, sometimes it gets a little weird around here, Tim. And you've been around me in some of my weirdness. But that's okay. You hold on. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thaw rocking us in the background with Little Brother is watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAP, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, the Space Travelers Club, and on X at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. I know you're out there somewhere. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends, we're watching. We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo Train has docked for the night. But soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night. There's my man, Super Quest. Take us home, Captain, you son of a bitch. Take us the fuck home. All right.
That was a power show.
Dude, I'm literally weirded out by this.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
It's creepy.
It is creepy. Okay, let's play a couple minutes more.
Okay. The feral cats thing.
Feral cats. Katy Perry, where the frick did that come from?
Let's keep going. As we move forward even higher. 3, 2, 1. Where do you go?
I don't know.
Take a look
You're
around.
there, though.
What am I doing there?
You're sitting beside me.
Mm-hmm.
Your posture is great.
Mm-hmm.
And you have your hand on my right left knee.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's about enough for tonight.
Because did she give you any little bit of a breakdown? Because you guys know that, right? There's more to that, right? And so is that how you knew about that from this? Did she tell you about that, or
No.
okay?
I know nothing about this tape.
Okay.
Nothing. I just look.
How did you know that you had a yeah?
Here's the thing that I just want to say. I don't know what's on here. Okay. But I don't want to be making a fool out of myself just in case I say something that probably shouldn't say.
Or Geraldine, for that matter. It could get
Geraldine
like
or
naughty.
Katy Perry or whatever.
The inner sanctum of Dave's mind. It could use a good wipe down. Let's just say that.
Yeah. I don't know where the frick this is going.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Weird. I don't
Do you
even know
want to
if I can-
preview it a little? Just mute it and make sure it doesn't get too naughty and then play.
I don't know how to mute it. That's the problem.
Hmm.
Right?
Inch
Hold
it
on.
forward. Just be ready with the mute if it gets too raunchy. Dry Toast gets it. Oh man, we should bring the whole SOR crew in for this, and we should just sit around and judge you. Just kidding.
That's not nice.
That's a joke. Obviously, this is your tender interior thoughts. I would never do that. It's a joke.
No, I don't even know. It might be nothing.
Yeah, I'm
It might
sure it
be-
is nothing. Plus, it's just, nobody's gonna mind. Just play it.
Okay.
No feelings will
No.
get hurt. We understand you're under hypnosis.
I understand this, but this is also under recording. Right?
What do you mean? Like rolling live sort of thing?
We're still live on YouTube, right?
Well, yeah. So just be ready with that mute if you feel like it's gonna.
No,
No, he's like, no. Okay. I don't want to force you. You've already done really well.
No, I don't
it's
know
personal.
I don't know where this is going. And I don't want to in case I say something stupid on here that I
Oh.
don't know of.
That's cool.
Okay.
Good night, Jim Goodall.
Good night, little Jimmy Goodall. Grab your little pumpkin and cuddle up for night.
What? I mean, he obviously has a little stuffed airplane of some sort. I have the space shuttle. You guys have all seen my NASA space shuttle that I sleep with. What do you think Jim Goodall sleeps with? What's his stuffed animal airplane of choice?
Guaranteed he sleeps with an SR-71.
That's a soundbite right there. It should be his ringtone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's gold.
I feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Not as confused.
Do we know each other?
Mm-hmm.
From where?
You're showing me a reptilian tail.
Mm-hmm. Whose tail is it?
Oh, I say yours.
Mm-hmm. Are we both reptilians?
How do we check?
Look down at your body. What do your feet look like?
They're still green and ugly.
Green. Okay. Does it look like a reptilian green?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a tail? Take a look behind you.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
It's
I got it
sticking out of
too.
my jeans.
Whoa.
Perfect. So where are we from? What planet are we from? Are we from a planet specifically?
I'm from Orion.
From Orion. Very good.
Cool.
I knew it.
So what's our connection? Take a look at that.
Don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but we love each other a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Good enough. I'm a reptilian from Orion. There we go.
That was huge. You looked
was
behind you and you had a tail.
Sticking out of my jeans.
Such a trip.
Total trip. Hey, Witchy, how you doing, man?
I mean, that's just, yeah, that'll be fun to think about as you're falling asleep tonight.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
cool, man. You should listen to the whole thing and see if we could maybe bring some more forward, you know, because that's really interesting and fun. I bet your audience is having a blast with this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sure they are.
It's very interesting.
Yeah. That it is. That it is. You know what I'm going to do, Tim?
Tell me.
Are you going to be around for the round table on Friday night?
This Friday is, yeah. I mean, yeah. Why not? Sure, I'll hang out.
All right. I will review the rest of this, and then maybe we'll play some highlights.
Oh, that'd
on
be
Friday.
cool. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And get everyone's kind of take on it. I mean, it's
We
so
did scratch the surface.
Yeah. We did what, an hour, 40 minutes, 30 minutes? Yeah, that's great.
No, we've only done it literally. We've only done about 41 and a half minutes of tape.
And how did you do this? You were in the same room?
Yeah.
And were
It
you
was in my
laying
hotel
down?
room. I was on the bed, passed out.
Right. And then, like, how does it end? Do you wake up?
She just brings you out.
And how did you feel at the end of it? No recollection. Did you feel like any time had passed?
Like 15 minutes.
It felt like 15 minutes had passed with that little bit of brief rest. Do you remember her voice at all during that sleep? Were you like semi-conscious?
Don't remember anything she asked me. I remember hearing her voice.
Gotcha. That's interesting.
All right. Tim, stick around. I got to talk to you about some SOR stuff.
Cool.
For the rest of us, I got to get editing here so that way I can get to bed. I fell asleep at my daytime office today. Don't tell my boss. He's on holidays. So I got to get to bed.
This guy.
But thank you tonight to Louie, ×3, Cat Chaser, Gizmo, Kira, Vaughn, Human Carl, Juan ×2, Christine, and Simon. Very much appreciate it. And we're going to go over this and see, not tonight, but by Friday for the round table. Much love, everybody. See you then.
Stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
If you need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.